Good afternoon, boys and girls. So on today's little episode, I am going to teach you how to solve this little guy right here. This is a 3x3 puzzle cube, known better as a Rubik's Cube, so named after its inventor, Erno Rubik, who invented this little guy in 1974 as an expression of his love for architecture and sculpture. Erno Rubik was a sculptor and taught architecture as a professor. So this little guy has been frustrating people for decades now, both children and adults alike, who actually compete around the world to see who can solve this the fastest. It goes down from like a 5-minute cube to a 1-minute cube, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 5 seconds. That's right, a 5-second cube. And in fact, the world record was just recently broken. Someone solved this little guy in a little over 4 seconds. That's right, someone solved a Rubik's Cube in just over 4 seconds. So I'm going to teach you all the basics on how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and who knows, the next world Rubik's champion might be right out there. So let's get right into it. All right, boys and girls, so here we go. Let me just scramble up this cube real quick. Now, there's a couple of things that you are going to need to learn to be able to do the cube. One of them is common nomenclature, or how things are called. And this is going to be important for the algorithms later on. Yes, there are algorithms for this. So F means front, and that's the face facing you. U means upper, and that's the face at the top, the upper face. R means right, that's the right face. L means left, that's the L face. If you see an apostrophe or I say prime, that just means you're going to go counterclockwise. Otherwise, you always go clockwise, and that's in relation to someone looking at that face. So if someone's looking at the top face, clockwise would go that way. If someone's looking at the left face, clockwise would go this way. Then one other movement you're going to need to know is the trigger. The trigger is probably the most important movement in cubing. So a right-handed trigger is this. You turn the right face away from you, pull back with your index finger like a trigger, and then return that face. Let me show you that on the larger cube. So that would be away, trigger, back. And that's all there is to it. A left-handed trigger, likewise, would be the exact same thing, but with your left. Away, top, back, and that's it. So to get started, we're going to do what's known as the daisy. So for the daisy, we need to identify our centerpieces. The centerpieces are always fixed, so yellow is always going to be across from orange, fuchsia is always going to be across from purple, and blue is always going to be across from green. And that's the same for the cube, for a regular Rubik's Cube, even though the colors are a little bit different. So now that you know about your fixed pieces, you also have corner pieces and edge pieces. Edge pieces, only have edges, and corner pieces are on the corner. So to get started, we first need to build what's known as the daisy. Now, daisies have yellow centers, and because orange is directly across from yellow, we are going to give it orange petals. So to do that, I'm going to identify one of my edge pieces, which is right here, and I'm going to twist it and twist it up. Now, once I get one edge piece in place, I actually don't need to move any of those petals to align the rest of the pieces. Now, you might have to do a couple extra turns or twists just to get them aligned right, but there we go. So I have a daisy with orange petals. Now, if you have extras, like here, I have these in the corner, that's perfectly okay, just consider it a bonus. What we're looking at is these edge pieces. So I have orange and purple. I'm gonna take purple and I'm gonna line it with its purple center and then twist it once, twice, to send it down to the bottom to its corresponding orange center. I'm gonna do that for the rest of them too. So here I have fuchsia, and fuchsia will go with the fuchsia center, and 1, 2. Then I have green, green right there, 1, 2. And then I have blue. So blue should always be across from green. And 1, 2. So now on the bottom, I should have an orange cross. Once again, if you have extras, just consider them a bonus. And they will be a good bonus for our next step. But the important part is to get this cross right here. So what I'm looking for is orange pieces on the corners. So the next couple of steps, I'm going to be putting these in place systematically in relation to their centerpiece. So I find orange and purple. And what I'm gonna do, like say orange and purple was over here, I'm gonna look at orange on the corner, see that it has purple, and then I'm gonna rotate purple till it aligns with its corner piece. Now, orange is over here, it's on the right side, so I'm gonna do a right trigger, and that should align it and then send it right back down to the bottom. Now, if it moves any of these pieces around, that's okay. What you're doing is you're shifting around all these pieces and these orange pieces till they all align relative to these corner pieces. So if you have extra movements to get these to go over here, that's okay. That's perfectly all right. If one of these moves up here, don't think you messed up. You didn't. It's just the cube sorting itself out. So I have blue and orange, so I'm going to turn till I find my blue center. There's my blue center. And now orange is on the left-hand side, so I'm going to do a left-handed trigger. And I have solved the bottom, but I haven't solved this row. I should have solved this row under normal circumstances. So that means something's off. So I'm just gonna do a right-handed trigger, send this back up to the top, and then orange is on the left side, purple's aligned with purple. And there we go. So you see purple went to that corner and now everything's sorted and it kicked out an orange. So orange and green is now over here. And I'm gonna do a trigger. And the bottom is solved and the bottom row is completely solved. Isn't that cool? So, okay, boys and girls, now we're gonna solve the second row. The second row is a little bit trickier than the first row. To do the second row, we're gonna look at the top. So what we're looking is for spaces that don't have a yellow sticker on the edges. So here I have green and purple. So I'm going to turn green to align with the green center. Purple's on the top. Purple center is on the left, which means I want this piece to go left. So since I want it to go left, I'm gonna do a variation on the left trigger. First, I'm gonna turn the top, then I'm just gonna do my trigger. And you'll notice that I'm kicking out an orange or undoing an orange. That's okay. We just put it right back. So I align orange, purple, I align the purples, and then I just do my trigger and put it right back where it needs to go. So I'm looking for more that don't have a yellow sticker. So here's blue and purple. I'm gonna look for blue. And purple's on the top and purple's on my right, so I'm going to do that right variation on the trigger. So we pull back once and then do our right trigger. And then we kicked out an orange. So we're just gonna put that right back where it needs to go. And then, so here's a yellow sticker, here's a yellow sticker. This one doesn't have a yellow sticker. So, let's see, we have blue. So blue's on the right-hand side. So I'm going to twist once and then do my right-hand trigger. And then put that orange piece right back where it needs to go. Oops. And then let's keep looking. I still haven't finished solving, so I'm just gonna keep looking. So fuchsia and green. So green is on the left-hand side, so I'm going to do my left-handed trigger. I kicked out that orange, so I'm gonna put it right back where it needs to go. And my entire second row is solved. Now, if for some reason you have spaces that have yellow stickers, but you still haven't solved the second row, so one of these edge pieces might be out of place. What you can do is just like, if that edge piece that's out of place is on the right-hand side, to do a normal right-handed trigger. If it's on the left, do a normal left-handed trigger. So now that that's solved, we're gonna solve the top. Now this is where the algorithms come in place. So for this first one, we're gonna do the FURF algorithm. That's how you remember it, FURF, which is F-U-R-U-R-F. So that is front, the face that's facing you, front, upper, and remember these go clockwise, right. And then earth is upper prime, so that's counterclockwise, right prime, so that's counterclockwise, and front prime, so that's counterclockwise. And you see the spaces on the top change. So what we're looking for is either this up and down line, or if you have like little clock hands. So right now I have the up and down line, and I always want the up and down line to be this way, not this way, this way. So I'm just gonna do for earth again. So that's front, upper, right, upper prime, right prime, front prime. And you see, they've changed once again. So now what I'm looking for are these little clock hands. So you turn the top and you want these little clock hands to be at the 9 o'clock position. So this one's pointing to 9, this one's pointing to 12. If you have extras, don't worry about it right now in this step. So this step, you're just going to either be looking for lines or clock hands till you get a cross. We still don't have a cross formed, so we're just gonna keep going down it, doing for earth. So front, upper, right, upper prime, right prime, front prime, and there is my cross. Now, I have this shape that looks like a little fishy, and you want the fishy going downstream. If you have the fish, you may almost be done. If you only have a cross with like extra corners, that's okay. So if you have a cross with extra corners, you're gonna do this next algorithm, which I call Richard Ulysses. You might have to do it a couple of times. So if you don't have the little fish, don't freak out, don't worry. It just means you have to do this next couple of steps 1 or 2 more times. And this is my favorite step because it goes like this. So it's going to be, I'm just gonna tell you real quick, it goes right, upper, right prime, upper, right, upper, upper, right prime. To remember that, I use this mnemonic. Richard Ulysses runs up rocks, up, rocks. So these are still solved. I have my little fish, and your little fish always needs to go downstream. So I'm gonna do the algorithm again. Richard Ulysses runs up rocks, up, whoop, rocks. And there you go, I solved the top. So now that I've solved the top, I'm gonna look for corners. I want corners that are solved. So all these corners are solved. That actually means I'm almost done. But if your corners aren't solved, there is another algorithm. I'm gonna put that up on a title card right now. Okay, so that algorithm, which is left prime, upper, right, upper prime, left, upper, right prime, upper, right, upper, right prime, is in case you don't have any of these corners matched. So if you have 0 matching corners, do that algorithm. And then as soon as you have matching corners, put them in your left hand, do the algorithm again till all your corners match. Once all your corners match, we move to this step. So if you have a side solved, make sure that side faces away from you towards the back. And then you look at these pieces. So blue needs to go clockwise, fuchsia needs to go clockwise. So I'm going to do the clockwise algorithm, which is front, front, upper, right prime, left, front, left prime, right, upper, front. I'm going to show you what that looks like. If your pieces need to go in the opposite direction, you're going to do the counterclockwise algorithm, which is front, upper prime, right prime, left, front, front, left prime, right, upper, front, front. I'll show you that on a little title card, and I'll put up, again, all these algorithms so you can see them at the end. And if you don't have any side solved, like say you didn't have this complete side solved, just do that counterclockwise algorithm twice, okay? But since I do have the back solved, it's facing that way. Let's do the clockwise algorithm because I need these to move clockwise. So that's front once, twice, upper. Now remember, this goes clockwise. Now right prime, so that's counterclockwise. Left, front, front, left prime, right, upper, and front, front. And there we go. We solved the cube. Now, if you run any problems, you can always just go back and check the algorithms or rewatch this video. You might have to watch it a couple of times. The first couple of times you do this, it might take you a couple of hours how to learn to do it, but it gets easier and easier the more you do it. So that's it, boys and girls. See you on the next one. Bye.